Yeah, it's put everything else in front of the one that I'm using. So there we go. That's better.
It's the way.
Okay, let's go back actually. Date for the next Q4 update, December the 5th. So that'll be the last one for this year. And you can let us know what you like about these formats, if you prefer like a single topic or if you like these kind of quarterly updates. Just let us know in the meetup on the Facebook group. We're going to be quite quick tonight. So we'll do welcome introductions. John and I are going to talk about some of the new stuff that's happened in Elementor the past 3 months. We'll do a quick Q&A and then we'll try and finish before 7 o'clock. A little bit about myself and John. I've been using WordPress now for 18 years. I had an interview from my host, the company My Host, and I had to put some dates with him. Like, my goodness, 18 years. So yeah, I've been mostly a developer, back end stuff. But yeah, I love WordPress. I love its flexibility, its open sourceness. It's given me a good career. And I love doing these meetups. I also do the WordPress Sydney meetup. That's an in-person meetup. And I don't have a slide, and I slapped myself in the hand for doing that. I'm also organizing WordCamp Sydney, which is a 2-day nerd fest of everything WordPress. That's November the 2nd to 3rd. It's at UTS, University of Technology Sydney, right in next to Central Station. So come along for that. Have a look at the website. It's sydney.wordcamp.org. And the tickets are super cheap. They're $70 for 2 full days of presentations, a Saturday and a Sunday. It also includes morning tea, afternoon tea, a catered lunch, and a Saturday night social evening as well. So it's the best and most affordable technical conference in Sydney you'll ever go to. And we've got topics for everyone. We've got topics for beginners, for developers, for business people. We're trying to create a broad spectrum of topics that for everyone across there. So if you can, grab a ticket and we'll see you there in November. John, do you want to just talk briefly about yourself, or do you want to wait until you're...
Yeah. I'll just quickly introduce myself. First up, I'm just very excited about that WordCamp thing. Rather than anything else, that sounds very, very good. So yes, I'm John. I am a graphic designer and I run my own one-man design agency, John Wolfgang Design. And I build everything in WordPress and I build pretty much everything in Elementor. And I just sort of fell in love with Elementor about 5 years ago. And as a graphic designer, it kind of does everything I want it to do. And unlike Will, I kind of know very, very basic CSS, but I don't really know the code beyond that. So it kind of allows me to do what I want to do from a design point of view without having to know all the coding. So that's why I love Elementor. And yeah, what I kind of love is what we'll be talking about today, that Elementor keep throwing in extra things and making themselves look even better. So cool. Back over to
Absolutely.
you, Will. Yeah.
Thank you, John. We've got code of conduct. I'll copy that in the chat just so everyone's clear. Just basically says be nice to each other, which is good. We should have told you what we were drinking. I'm drinking cup of tea, which is decaf tea, and I'll move on to the hard stuff, which is water, later on when that one's done. I'm going to give you the floor. So if anyone would like to introduce themselves, Stefan, Paul, Tracy, Bridget, and then go for it just now.
Hi, my name is Bridget, and I design event websites for professional congress organizers. And I'm drinking water, nothing fancy.
Lovely, thank you.
Tracy, you're on mute at the moment, I think. I can see you trying to talk. Oh, no, you're not on mute, but I couldn't hear you. So, oh, that's a shame. Well, hello, Tracy. Yeah, it must be something to do with your microphone or something on that one.
If you get your microphone working, you can introduce yourself at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go. Yeah, I'm Stefan. I've basically done WordPress since 2017 and Elementor since 2018. I also self-host WordPress on GCP and yeah, Amazon Web Services prior to that, using Cloudflare as well. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to chat to me or even job opportunities, looking for them too. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Stefan. Paul, do you want to jump in, or are you going to stay silent today?
So I can work out how to unmute myself. Yeah, I'm Paul. I run my own web hosting design business, doing WordPress and Elementor. I've been doing Elementor about 5 years, WordPress for about 10. Host about 20 sites on Amazon Web Services, which I find really good to be able to do it myself and get right down into the Linux sort of stuff and not have to spend hours on phones to hosting companies trying to explain their job to them. So, all right. So look forward to it. Thanks.
Cool. Who do you use to host stuff, John?
SiteGround is the one that I use at the moment for my own website. Basically, because my own website is small and doesn't get a lot of page views and everything. But also, what SiteGround do is kind of going back to earlier what I was saying about what I can't do, a lot of the technical stuff. Whereas SiteGround, they just have like you can talk to someone within like 3 seconds and they will fix it. So that's why I like SiteGround, just for their technical help, I suppose.
Yeah, I have some clients on SiteGround. It's very good because the plans are reasonable and the support is good as well. And you can have a data center here in Sydney. But I use Wordify for all my websites and some client websites as well. They're, again, an Aussie host, so they're very, very good. And when you're talking to them, you're actually talking to the tech people. So you're not talking to a frontline support people. You know, that tells you have you switched your computer on and all that sort of rubbish. I just can't deal with that.
Yeah, it's the same as SiteGround. Yeah, you're talking to the right person. They know exactly what I'm talking about straight away. They don't have to like pass me on to someone else or anything like that. So it's great.
Okay, well, Bridget uses Venture IP. Excellent. Kinsta. Yep. I did use Kinsta for a while, but some of my sites, I had WooCommerce on a couple of sites, and it's quite intensive using background threads. And with the lower Kinsta packages, you only get 2 PHP workers. And if you need to add more PHP workers, the next one up is 4, but then it's like the premium package. So, you know, paying like $300 a month as opposed to $50 a month just to get some more PHP workers. So, yep, that's why I moved from them. And Tracy's on Fast Comment. I've not heard of them.
Neither.
Well, I configure mine for 20 PHP workers.
Exactly.
Yeah. And in fact, I think my minimum set for 5, growing in increments of 5, it regularly maxes out.
Yeah.
So 2 PHP workers, I'm feeling you.
Yeah. Bridget, this is a good segue. Bridget, the reason for PHP workers is things that are done in the background. So when plugins like WooCommerce do a lot of stuff in the background, they send information using Ajax to the server and listen to the server for background. That's handled independently on the back end of the server. So you've got little PHP modules running in the web server, and they're dealing with all those requests. So if you get any plugins that are really heavy with Ajax, the backend communication, those little workers just get swamped, and then a queue builds up, and your website can't process the stuff. It's waiting for stuff to get processed with PHP. So the more workers you have, the better it is, basically. So that's that. No worries. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, that's a good segue. We should just do a hosting one. That'd be fine.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Okay, so Elementor updates and change logs. I've listed those out for you. You can have a look for yourself. I'm not going to go through all of them because there have been a lot of changes over the past 3 months. But if you're looking for where to go to find updates, the free version, that's on wordpress.org. So if you click on the developers tag, it'll tell you all the change logs that happened. It'll all the new stuff, all the fixes stuff, all the enhancements. But for the pro version, which is I think what most people use, it's got a separate changelog on elementor.com/pro/changelog. And if you visit developers.elementor.com, elementor.com, then you'll be able to get all the developer documentation. And there, each new release of WordPress, they will do a separate blog post for that particular beta version and for the final version, just telling you all the development stuff that's changed with those. So keep an eye on those if you want to see exactly what's going on. It's useful to do because with Elementor's rapid change, they do get rid of stuff or change stuff over recently, and I'll cover a couple of those in a minute. We've also got our Facebook group, so Elementor Australia Meetup. Join that one and have a conversation if you want to continue on afterwards. There's also the Elementor roadmap, and it's a great place to just keep an eye on what's coming up with Elementor. So there's actually 4 columns. There's a complete in production column, but we're not so worried about that. But it's good to be able to see what they're planning and what's in progress and what's in beta. So this one here, snapshots of what they're planning. It doesn't give you too much information, but it does give you a little bit of an idea. So they're looking to update the motion effects and animations. They're looking to an enhanced WooCommerce builder, so I'm quite excited about that. I think the tool's good. It's okay for WooCommerce, but anything enhanced will be much better. They're looking for advanced form builder features, and I'm not quite sure what that means. Again, there's very limited information, but I'm really keen on seeing what's in the form stuff. For the forms, it's relatively basic. You can have dynamic data, but any enhancement to that, I work a lot with clients using the form API to make it do a lot more than it probably should do. So any enhancements to that, I'm really excited to see. But the game changer one is CSS selectors. Now, I've been looking at, I shouldn't say this, I'll whisper it, I've been looking at another page builder called Breakdance. So don't tell anyone. But they have this concept of CSS selectors. And what you do is you develop a page, just so the page has got a button on it. You change all the colors and the width and the font for the button, but then you get to save that as a global CSS and you give it a name. And that means that on the next page, if you've got a button, you then just choose that global CSS and it applies that change. So when you're developing your website, all the different elements that you have, you can save them as global CSS selectors. And then just say a client comes to you and say, actually, I want my call to action buttons to be blue rather than green. Then you just go to the global selection and change that thing. It reflects it throughout the entire site. It's a game-changing way of developing websites. Rather than do each component individually, you just do these global CSS. So when that comes through, I'll be really excited to test that with Elementor because I've been using that a lot with Breakdance, and it really speeds up development an awful lot, especially in the planning development phase when you got clients and they're maybe not too sure about what their branding is. And, it's an absolute game changer. So really excited to see that one come through when it does. In progress, they're migrating to Font Awesome 6 finally, so everyone will be able to get the X icon that everyone's been asking for, even though everyone's jumping off X just now, but it'll be there. And in beta, I'm going to look at some of these tonight, is floating bars and variable fonts. So definitely keep an eye on the roadmap. It's really good to know what's coming up with Elementor. Here's what we're going to cover tonight between John and I. We're going to talk about Stylesheet, speed optimization, variable fonts, off-canvas widget, search widget with live results, floating button and bars possibly, and link in bio. So John's going to take a back seat just now. He's going to drink lots of coffee. I'm going to go first. So we'll jump into Stylesheet speed optimization. So I want to talk a bit about what Elementor has been doing with speed. They put a lot of work. There was an article put out last year, I think beginning of last year, when the Google Core Web Vitals came out, and it was like, is this end of death? Is this the death of Elementor and all that sort of stuff? Because it was pretty slow. And so they've worked an awful lot of effort with the Google Core team to try and speed up Elementor. And I'm going to take you through some of the things that they've been applying, and it's in the current version just now. So let's have a look at what they've been doing over the past few releases. I'm going to look at my other monitor. Sorry if you see my ear, but it's rather small on this monitor. So here's some of the versions updates. So we can see if you ignore the the first version 3.3 column. That's where they want to be, I think, or that was the idea that they had. But if you look from version 3.2 onwards, you can see some of the assets that it loads in all the time and the changes in file size that they've gone down to. So the frontend.css and even the light version, so it started off at 191 kilobytes and then 131, and it jumped up in 3.22. But now in the current version 3.24, they've got that down to 71 kilobytes. So this is a file that's loaded all the time on every page refresh on the front end of your website. So reducing it by 220 odd kilobytes is it's a massive overhead. It's really, really good. And you can see that the Elementor core for the minified one has been reduced an awful lot as well, down to 61 kilobytes. So that's in the core, that's the free version. And then the table at the bottom, that's the Elementor Pro. So again, you can see, I mean, look at, obviously the Pro has a lot of extra widgets and features. So we would expect the file sizes to be bigger for those, and they are. They're almost 3 times as big. Again, they've got the front end and the light version all the way down to 10 kilobytes. That's from 503 kilobytes all the way down to 10, which is just fantastic. And the minimized version just pretty much the same. But those are huge decreases. And the reason for those speed, the file size decreases is that they've changed the way that they load style sheets. So here is the loading style strategies. So version 3.4, it's focused on splitting the styles from the general front-end file, so one file, and it separates out the styles, and these styles are loaded conditionally when they're used on the page. So you can see it loads 5 different types of CSS files. The front-end style, so that's all the reset rules, all the layout rules, your general styles, everything that's required for layout of Elementor. So that's always loaded. But now you've got each widget that you use has got its own ID, its own style sheet, minimized version of style sheet, and that is loaded conditionally and only if you use that particular widget on a particular page. There's a global style, of course, for all widgets, so that's the one that's been replaced. And then there's a post style, so every page that you create with Elementor, if you do styles to it, it's saved as its own CSS. That's not changed. And then you've got libraries. So that's things like carousels and dialogues, lightbox, things that pop up animation. That's got its own CSS file as well. So these are the changes that they've done. They've broken things up to different parts. And this new strategy, it divides that massive front-end CSS file into all these separate CSS files for each widget. And it loads a small, so the new one loads a small front-end light CSS file, and that's got your general rules, reset rules, but then within that file, it conditionally loads in widgets and library styles. So library styles, the conditionals are things like if you're using the shape divider, if you're using a slider, if you're using the lightbox, the animations, nested elements. So it detects if you're using these, and then it will conditionally load in stuff to support that. Now, there's always a trade-off between size. So the size is down on each load, but the trade-off is it's making more requests to the local server. So each time it has to load in a file, it's sending a request to the server, give me that file. But that's not so bad because most web servers are running HTTP2, which is what we call asynchronous loading. So it does it in the background. And these files can be cached as well. So one request, it caches it, and then on the next page, if they're using the same widget, then that can just be brought from the cache. So there's always a trade-off, but I think the trade-off in this instance is worth it for those file sizes because they're super slow, which is meaning a huge increase in speed from Elementor. So it's no longer the kind of lame duck thing. It's now actually quite a zippy page builder. If you're a developer, each widget in Elementor has a dedicated script and styles required for functionality. So if you are a developer, you should use, there's 2 new class functions called get script dependents and get style depends, and those will load in that particular CSS or JavaScript files for your widget. So if you're an add-on developer what you're going to do is you're going to use those two scripts within your add-on, your widget. You'll need to extend Elementor and widget base and then add these two new functions. And within those functions, you're going to add those script handlers or a location to the script. So the script handlers, that's just going to be in your normal plugin file, and then you can load in the handles for those, and depending on which widget you do. And this allows Elementor to build up kind of a dependency tree for each widget, and it knows which files to load in. Some miscellaneous speed updates that they've done as well. And again, this is why you should pay attention to the change logs so you know these things are changing. So there's a waypoints.js. I can't remember exactly what that's being used for, but that's been deleted in 3.2.4, the current version. It's transitioned to a class now. The animation libraries, used to be two things, use a CSS and an actual folder that loads other things. They're slated for deletion in 3.2.6. So if you are an add-on developer, you're doing your own stuff, you need to know that you now have to use an alternative for those, or you can use the animation library class that they're moved from. And again, just another developer thing is Swiper 5. So that's in the carousel thing. They were going to upgrade to the version 8, but that's been postponed because there's quite a lot of people are using that in add-ons and extensions, and they're not all quite migrated over to version 8 now. So those are things to be aware of. And the reason that they're deleting and migrating these things is because of this speed strategy. They're chopping things up into smaller things. Okay. Let's move on to a couple of demos. So the first one I'm going to be doing is variable fonts. This is a new advanced font technology, and it allows for a single font file to contain multiple style and variations. So you can change things like widths, change like height. There's even one font that I found you can actually change the way the bits come out of the font themselves, so you can kind of switch it around. It's very, very new thing, so there's not a lot of fonts that support this advanced font technology yet, but it will change. There'll be more and more in the future for these. So it's a little bit of a different way. So this variable font comes in one file. So you might know if you're choosing fonts from Google Fonts, it comes in all different things. You might get a 200 weight, a 400 weight, a 600 weight. You'll get a separate file for bold. You'll get a separate file for italic. These variable fonts just come with the one TTF file that allows you to do all these things within it. So it's really good because that means there's only one file that's being cached as well. And again, that's going to reduce your page load time. The next thing I'm going to talk about, and I'll just do these slides so I can go off to the demo, is off-canvas widget. So this one allows you to create little containers that don't appear on the main page when it initially loads, and they only appear if the visitor interacts with something on the screen. And that could be a button, it could be a link, it could be anything like that. And then it allows that off-canvas thing to come in a bit like a mobile menu with a hamburger thing. You click on that and kind of slides in for those. To use this feature, you have to have the Flexbox containers and the nested elements, which is a beta active, and then you'll get the feature. You get the option to choose the off-canvas demo widget, but I'll show you that in a second. So let me just stop sharing, and I'll get this one done and share this again. Where's my Zoom? Okay, share screen one. Share. Okay, so let's do the fonts first. And I'm sorry again, kind of turning this way from the camera. So the first thing you have to do is choose a font that is got this kind of variable, this new variable technology. So here I'm in Google Fonts. I always come to Google Fonts for all my stuff, but again, this technology is supported throughout different types of font servers. But if you're looking for these, then go into fonts.google.com, apply a filter, and you're looking for, click that for variable. And that's going to show you all the different fonts that have support this new technology. Now, they don't all support the same thing. There's different aspects to this variable technology that it uses. So not everything supports the same thing. So what you need to do is go into the font itself. So there's SUS, and then this type tester at the top, and it shows you what variable things can change. This one just supports weight. So if we move this, we can see it's increasing the weight of the font. And we'll go back and we'll have a look at another one. Where's a nice one that I saw earlier on? Oh, doesn't matter. Let's just choose this one, Open Sans. I'm going to see with this one, if we go into type tester, that it actually supports weight and width. So if we do weight, again, the same, but the width as well, we can then do this. So it's just giving you more control as to how it snaps into the particular area. Usually what you'll find is with the older fonts, they go in step sizes. With these ones, you're getting a pixel by pixel increase for these things. So what you need to do is once you've chosen your font, Elementor only works with height and width at the moment. So you'll need to have your font handy because you need to specify what the minimum and what the maximum is. And this is why we come into this type tester. And I'll show you how that's done. So width for there. So I chose Open Sans because it's got the two weight and width together. I spent far too long just looking through all the fonts. But here's what we do. We come to Elementor, and it has to be Elementor Pro for this one. And it has to be 3.2.4 or 3.24, however they do that. But here we come to Elementor and custom fonts. And then you want to add a new. And at the bottom here, you want to click on variable font. So this is the new one here. So give it a name. And then you want to upload the TTF file. Now, when you download the TTF file from Google Fonts, it comes in a zip file. And what you see is a folder that's got static, and that's all your weights ones. But what you want is the file that says variable. So that's just the one file. So I've already uploaded it here. So you can see it's got Open Sans, it's got dash variable font. And that's the one you want, the TTF file, not the ones in the static folder. So I'm going to select that. And then Elementor needs to know the minimum and maximum values so it can do its thing when you're inside the builder. So you click on the width and height. And sometimes it's only got width, sometimes it's only got weight. That's okay. This is where you need to go back to the Open Sans and look at weight is 300 to 800. So weight is 300 to 800. And width is 75 to 100. 75 to 100. And then publish that. And the way that you use these, so let's just go to a page. Got a sample page. This is a brand new website. I'm running it on local WP. Okay, so then you do something like something that's got text, so a heading, for example, and you drag that in. I hate those default colors. Change this to dark purple. There you go. Okay, so in the style, you come to typography. Did I just change that? I did. There we go. You go to typography, and then in the family, you click down, and then scroll all the way up the top because its default is Roboto. But right at the top, you've got your variable font. So that's picking in dynamically for those once you've published it. So you just click on that, and then it brings in this weight. So you've got fine control over that. And then you've got the width as well. Oh, it's not as smooth as it was. So you can change the size as normal, but then you can change the weight and you can change the width as well. So that's going to give you fine control over where you put the text, especially for mobile size. So if your text size doesn't quite fit for the mobile, you can stretch it out, or if it's too big, you can kind of bring it in for those. So that's pretty good. I like that. That's going to be really useful. Again, it's only the one file as well, so you can add your weights and widths without having to load in your bold and your thin types of fonts. I think that's a really useful addition. Can you make that a global font? Let's have a look. Where's the global stuff? I forgot where the global stuff is. There we go. No, fonts. Global fonts. Let's have a look and see. Okay, so primary. Down here. Stop. Yes, you can. There we go. So you can set that as a global. We'll save those. Okay, Google Fonts website has gotten a lot better. Yes, it has. They were a bit slow to come on with the variable fonts, but now that's all working, which is great. So let me move on to the canvas one. This is quite nifty. Okay, let's go back to the settings. So in Elementor and settings, you need to go to features. And if using the current version, if you've installed the current version, then the Flexbox container will be set on anyway. But if you've been using older versions, you need to have the Flexbox container active. And then you need to have nested elements active. And you can only have nested elements active if you have the Flexbox container. So I've got those both switched on. I'll just save and make sure. And then let's flick off to pages again. And we'll do this sample page. So the off-canvas edit is really quite nifty. Let's smooth that there. So once you've got that, you can type off and drag that anywhere. It doesn't really need to be. It can be anywhere on your page. It can be at the top or at the bottom. It really depends on you because it's not seen in line. It's just a control widget. So when you add that in, then you can see from the navigator that you can see the off-canvas thing there. And a good tip is, and what I didn't do later, is give it a proper name because it defaults to off-canvas and the widget's called off-canvas and the controls to select it's called off-canvas. So you just get confused as to which one it is. So I'll just rename this canvas one. There, and you have controls as to where it goes. So you can have it in the middle, left or right. You can choose a vertical position as well. So if you've got it as a custom height, you can say fit to content. And then again, you get to see where it goes. So it can be in the middle, you can put it to the top, you can put it to the bottom with this, and you have control over the width as well. So it basically is a little canvas in itself. It's like its own container. So you can then start to add stuff to it. So you can add a heading. Let's see. And then you can, I'll put a title in a second, an image and whatever else, some text down below. There. So let's just give it an image. I like this one. And then give it a title. Go, and the lorem's fine for that. Okay, so once you've finished doing your off-canvas element there, I actually struggle to get back to the main canvas. I'm clicking on everything to try and get back to this one here. But if you're in the off-canvas editor here, there's a little button saying editing mode. So you click that on and off and it appears and disappears. For the life of me, I was clicking here and pressing escape and I couldn't get back to the main canvas. But here it is here, so on and off. And a nice little thing as well, in the settings, you can animate it. So you can have an entrance animation. And again, it's all your good stuff like fade in, zooming in, bouncing, sliding, rotating. I mean, you can just go to town on all of this. Let's just rotate in those and I'll update that. So once that's done, let's just get this off. Then you get to link the off canvas to whatever element you want to do on your page. So let's drag in a button. Let's drag that down here. We'll shove that in the middle. So when you link to it, we're going to click on the link here and in the link options, not link options, the dynamic tags, sorry, and then you'll scroll down and you'll start to see the off canvas as one of the actions. So click on off canvas, and as you do in Elementor, you have to click on it again, and we're using dynamic stuff. And then here we can get to see the particular widgets of canvas one. This is where, when I did a test one, it was called off canvas, my actual name of the off canvas. So everything was off canvas. I was like, where is it? So give it a name, a decent name that you know. And then that's that one linked. We'll update. And then we'll preview. Click on that. And here we go. Underpants, a brief history of those. So I think those are quite cool. I got some questions about, does this replace pop-ups? Yeah, I guess it does. What are the use cases for this? Let's just stop sharing my machine. What's the use cases for this? Well, I think if you're looking for something with additional information and you don't want people to leave that page, I think this is useful. So especially in things like WooCommerce, you can have like product info, you can have detailed product info, you can have a link there that brings up extra carousel for those. So it's a really neat way of adding more stuff, more interactivity without you taking people off page necessarily. Will it replace pop-ups? Possibly. I'm struggling to see. There's a lot of overlap with use cases between pop-ups and this off canvas. So yeah, I mean, pop-ups can't spinning and do that sort of stuff. So if animation is important to you, then I guess the off canvas could be quite useful. But yeah, very similar to pop-ups. That's right, Bridget. That's it. That's the demos and stuff that I wanted to cover tonight. Let's just jump on to John's stuff. If you want any questions, you can save it for later or jot it down in the chat and I'll try and answer them in the background. So John, over to you.
Thank you very much, mate. That was very good, especially the variable fonts. I got sort of very nerdily excited about that one. Looking forward to playing around with that one myself. Okay, so today I'm going to look at the latest design updates. Just make sure I can share the screen. Yep. So we're going to look at 3 different things that have all kind of come up recently to just be sort of the standard thing is all there now. It's not in a sort of beta testing version yet anymore. And these are 3 things that, again, get me sort of excited being a design nerd. These are 3 things that I've been doing before, but I always had to use a third party for. And now Elementor do these 3 things themselves. And that always goes into what I now call my catchphrase of, can Elementor do it? So there's a lot of things that I always want to do on my website because every other website can do them, but I always have to bring in a third-party plugin. And then step by step, Elementor start bringing them in themselves. So you kind of don't need to use third-party, which makes it faster as well. So I'm going to look at 3 different things that have come in recently, and I'll just sort of show you each one, how it works, how it's been a big improvement for me on 2 different websites that I run, my own website and then my main client one. And I'll just kind of briefly show you how to kind of set them up. I won't go kind of into full detail because we'd be here for 3 days. So the first one I'll look at is the floating button. And then this is quite a good example that Elementor have here. It's just that little button that's floating down on the right-hand side of your website. And if you want to get in touch with anybody running that website, then that's how that works. So that's very good for any kind of service. Obviously, my service is building websites, so it's good for me. Then the next one I will look at is the new search widget. So this is what Elementor have done to improve the search widget that they have. And I'll kind of show you the difference between the old one and the new one. And you'll see here live results. And I'll show you how that works and why that's actually very cool. And then the last one is link in bio. And link in bio is a phrase that you see quite a lot on Instagram because Zuckerberg does not allow links in individual posts. So we often have to send people to our link in bio, which we set up like a business card like this, where it'll kind of do multiple different things in one click. So I will talk through each one of those one by one. So the first one we will look at is the floating button. And just to show you a very quick example of what I mean here, you kind of see them on a lot of websites now, where it is a service. So this is a service that I use, and I'm sure a lot of you guys use as well, Woolworths, and they have this one over here, which is this little floating button that says chat with Olive, and it's just always there on every page. It's always static. And you can click on that and it will bring a pop-up, and that's when you can chat with Olive. Now, I have the online delivery service thing. They deliver it to my house. They always get things wrong. Like every delivery, there's something missing or something broken. And I can just click on this and go, problem with my recent order. And that is talking to Olive, who is an Olive, so not a real person. So it's an AI bot for that. But you can also chat to real people using these things, depending on what you want. And this is the other website that I want to show you that has one of these, and this is the Elementor website. They have their own one down here. So that's always there on every page. Click on that, you get a pop-up. Again, they have an AI bot for this that they call a virtual assistant. And this is using Forethought, which must be a third-party plugin there. But I want to show you what I have set up on my own personal website, which is this one down here. Now, what this is, it's a little pop-up window, and it's where you can talk to me personally. Now, you could always talk to me personally because there was always this button here, the contact button, and you can click on that and it'll take you through to my contact page. And then you fill in a form and it does all of that. But that's kind of like all hidden, and it's not sort of like, you know, as direct and instant as something like this. Whereas this one, you click on it and then it will just have my name and my face and say, "G'day, are you looking for a new website? Let me know more." And when I click to start chat, it takes me through to Facebook Messenger. And that's because I've chosen that as an option. And then you can say, "Hello, new website, please." And I will build one for you. So yes, it's very, very good. And that is something that was always there, but from a third party. And now Elementor have bought in their own one. And it's very, very easy to use. And they have a lot of templates set up for this that you can just very easily adjust to follow your own personal style for your own personal website. So I'll just very quickly show you how that one is set up, how easy it is to build them. And then I'll move on to the search one. So when you are in the dashboard here, come into templates and you will see floating elements. This is in there. If you've got the latest version of Elementor, it will be in there. If it's not, with any of these things that I talk about today, always just go to Elementor, go to settings, and go to features. And the way I always work these things is I just do a little search and search for something like floating, or, you know, we'll be looking at the search box, search for search, and just make sure everything is switched on because it may just be inactive because it's still in the beta version. But this one is live now. So if you go to templates and you go to floating elements, click on that. And then click add new. You'll get this little pop-up, and now you have two options. And this is what Will was talking about briefly, in that you have floating buttons, which is what I just showed you on my own website, and floating bars. Now, the floating bar is something that's also pretty good. And that is basically a bar. These are the templates that you can use for this. A bar that is floating at the very top of your website or the very bottom of your website. So it's always there. And I'll just show you how that works. So yeah, you just kind of have this. Obviously, you can't see it on a live website at the moment, but it will always be there at the bottom. And if you've got something that you're just trying to shout at people constantly, get a free guide, download now, and then you can close it so you can get rid of it as well. So that's really, really good with the floating bar. However, we are looking at a floating button. So choose floating buttons, give it a name, and we'll just call this one Contact John right now. I mean, this is just, that's my own name for it. I don't think that would appear anywhere when anyone else is looking at your website. And then that will bring you through to all the templates that are there. And they have loads of very good options here. So you can have ones that work a bit more like Olive, which is this one here. When that cookies thing keeps popping up for me, when you can have these buttons on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, and you can have multiple different things. So this one, Live Agent, that will take you through to WordPress. Then we have Facebook Messenger, give me a call, send me an email, FAQ. So if you guys want to play around with this, just go in and just kind of open up multiple different ones of these, because there's loads of different options that you can see in there, and just see which one would work best for you. This is one that I picked, which was the little button down at the bottom there, and then you get the pop-up window. So if I just insert that, it will show you how it's going to work. And this has literally just come through with the standard template. So it didn't pick any of my global fonts up to be used in here, annoyingly. But this is what you can do. And what is good about this is I've just chosen Facebook Messenger. But if you go over here to platform, you can choose WhatsApp. And if I choose that, it's changed all the colors to the WhatsApp colors. So that's really good, because we all recognize that logo, the WhatsApp logo. We all recognize the Messenger logo. We know what's going to happen if we click on that. We know how we're going to be talking to people. And then you have kind of these sort of more generic ones like email. Obviously, there's not a particular color for that, but we get the icon. So, and SMS. Look, it's just all there. So it all kind of, that one even says SMS. So it works very, very well. And then look, number, put in your phone number. WhatsApp, again, you would put in your phone number for WhatsApp. Or Messenger, you just put in your username. So mine's John Wolfgang Miller. And yeah, and then you literally, then just go in here and just change all your style. So what have we got here? Name, typography. I use Barlow. That's my font on here. So I would just choose that. And then I'll change it to Barlow, and then title. Let's make that Barlow condensed. And that's it, really. And obviously, like the little photo there, where would that be? Well, yeah, change the photo. I don't know where the photo part is. Sorry, there it is. Profile image. Click on that one, and then there's this dude here, but I want to choose myself. There I am. So I would choose that one there, and that's it. So type in your own name, so I'm not Donovan, and then publish. It is that easy. So you can set it up if you just want one form of contact for that, or if you want multiple ones, you have those multiple buttons on the right-hand side or the left-hand side. Very, very easy to use, very user-friendly for visitors to your website. So set that one up if you have some sort of service and decide how you want them to contact you. So I only set that one up yesterday, so I haven't actually had any messages on Facebook yet, but hopefully I will. So yeah, that one's great. The next one I want to show you is the search option. Now this is a website. This is my main client that I work with. They are called Out and About with Kids, and we focus on traveling with your family. That's what it is. It's just family travel. So it's Lonely Planet for traveling with your family. And we kind of majority of our audience is Australian, so we kind of cover most of the main places in Australia, but then we have rest of the world, so we do cover these places as well, basically on Who Wants to Pay Us Money to promote them. Now the search box that we still have at the top here is the older version of the Elementor search box, and I just left it in there because I haven't had time to go through and fix up the whole website yet. And that works the regular way that a search box or an Elementor search box would work. So let's just say I want to go camping with my family. I would go to this search box. I type in the word camping, press enter, and then it does what it was doing previously. Sorry for the very slow internet. This is my parents' house in the UK. And their internet really sucks. Well, that is taking a long time, even though I need to speed up this website. And what it would do, I'll just kind of talk you through it before it shows up, is it just takes you through to another page. That's a shame that it's not working. Let's try that again. Anyway, you'd get a page where it say, hey, here's the search results for the word camping. Annoying. Okay, but yeah, you know how it works. It will go search results for camping. It takes you through to a separate page. What it's doing there is just taking you through to a separate page. And then if you want to say, oh, hang on, I wanted to say something a bit more. What I'm actually looking for is camping that's sort of pet friendly. Then you have to type it in again, camping pet friendly. And yeah, website's not working. That's great. And that's my own website there. That could be an issue with what I'm trying to show here. But anyway, it would take you through to another page. And then if you want to like extend your search, you're kind of reloading that page again. What they have here now in Elementor is this search box where it's live search. So if I'm to write in the word camping, yeah, I think I've got an issue with this website. I can show you another website on which I've done this. Sorry about this, guys. I don't think that's the internet. I think that's actually my main client website. I probably need to look at that straight after the call. So I'll just show you sort of how it works on another website. So obviously what we have here, this is the previous one. So this is Zenbu Travel, and this is one that I made for another client traveling in Japan. So if I put in Tokyo, put that in, it will take you through to search results for that one. And then if I wanted to search for something in particular, like, you know, art galleries in Tokyo, I have to write it in again. And what we have now on this website is, if I go to travel tips, we have a search box like this. So if I was to type in Tokyo, it will give me the live results as I'm typing it in. So it's not taking me through to another website. It will just show me, and I've chosen the display of this and how many it will show at every time. Works really well on mobile as well, because you can just have it stacked. So I write in the word Tokyo and I can see what blog posts they have about Tokyo. And then again, if I'm looking for an art gallery, I can just type in the word art and it will automatically switch to show me that. So that's very, very good. Someone else here. No, we didn't. So yeah, sorry that I can't show you how I set that up on Out and About with Kids. But that is the way that that function works. What I wanted to show you as well on Out and About with Kids is, as I showed you when we first went on the website, in the drop-down menu there, we have different destination pages for every location. So we have New South Wales, we have Victoria, we have Queensland, and then we have sort of sub pages for that. So we have New South Wales, you got Sydney, you got Byron Bay and stuff. I can set up a search box in that. And then in the query for that, you can say only show results that are within the category of New South Wales. So that's why it works a million times better than the standard search box up here. Because if I use that, I'm just searching the whole website. Whereas this one, I can just search for individual posts on that page that I am looking at. Shame I couldn't show you on that, but yes. So yeah, search function is very, very good now. That's something they brought in recently, and it had a few flaws at first, but I think they fixed those now. So the last one I want to show you from my list is the link in bio option. Now, link in bio is something that we use a lot on Instagram. Because as I said before, Zuckerberg doesn't allow you to have a link on an individual post on Instagram. You can talk about it and you can say, hey, I've done this with this logo. But if you want to find out more, go to link in bio. And then users have to go back to your page and click on this link in bio there. The only way you can get that as a link is if you pay Zuckerberg money to have it as a boosted post or an ad. Now, previously, you could just put like your sort of main website link in here, but you want to give people options, especially if you're kind of talking about multiple different things. And one of the services that was used a lot for this was called Linktree. And this is the one that we have set up for Out and About with Kids. The way that if people click on the link in the bio, they will see who we are, but then you can see we have a free digital magazine. We have the page for Australia, we have the page for the rest of the world, page for accommodation, travel tips and tricks. And it does work very, very well. The problem is I'm using someone else's template for this. And it's always going to say link tree at the bottom. It's always sponsored by them. You maybe can pay for a premium version to take that away. But again, you got to pay for something extra there. And I'm just limited in terms of what I can do. However, Elementor have now bought this in that you can set up your own one to function the way you want it to work, really. So obviously, like, I've set this one up to represent my website using all of the typography that I use, all of the colors that I use. And then I can kind of choose what's appearing down here. And obviously, these are the three main services that I offer: digital, print, and branding. So yeah, you can kind of just do whatever you want. So you're not limited by what link tree can do. It's not saying sponsored by that. It will just have your more personal touch, and it will just like it look like it's come from you, like you're not paying someone to do this for you. And this is pretty easy to set up. And again, I think this one, if you have the latest version of Elementor, should just be there. And what we're going to do is just create a page for it, basically, because what we have in here, as you can see, it is just a page of my website that just says link in bio. So if you just come in here to pages, say add new page. And then we'll just call it, I've already set one up called link in bio, so just call it new link in bio. And then we will go to edit with Elementor. And again, it doesn't know that I'm setting up a link in bio. There may be a sort of more direct way of doing this. However, what I've done is just created a new blank page. And then if I click on the folder here and in blocks, in the drop-down menu here, you will see link in bio. And then what you will see here is a bunch of pre-made templates, and they are all obviously set up for mobile because that's how we use Instagram. No one really uses Instagram on their desktop. And you can just kind of choose the one that just has the best style, the best display of what you are trying to do and how you want it to be set up. And obviously, you can move things around. This one's got, additional social media buttons at the bottom. You can obviously quite easily move them up to the top. So just kind of have a little look through and just sort of see, like, what you're doing, what is the best way to represent the services that you offer. Do you need text in there? Do you just need images? That sort of thing. So just have a little look through and just see which one works for you. And then you can just go in and edit it. So I'll choose this one here, the first one. Insert. Yeah, this is just down to slow internet. Yeah. And I mean, look, again, it's just sort of set up the usual way. Here we just have it as a container. And then when you go in here, choose your background image. So I'll just choose something that I've done recently. Just that one will do. So that's the background image, and then choose your own personal image. My face. Choose that one. Yeah, I mean, it's all pretty sort of obvious how it all works, really. Bio. So we have, your title in here. John Miller. Cook like your mum. I'll leave that in. Description, you can add another bit in here. I will cook like your mum. It's a random thing for them to put in there, really. And then you'll get additional text below that. And then obviously, these are your buttons here. So I have chicken pot pie, but I want to make that digital for my website. And then I would just say John Wolfgang. Oh, I mean, you can even just do it, obviously, with a dynamic tag and then go for internal URL. And then choose content. And then choose digital from here. And that will choose portfolio digital. And then the next one, we'll make that one print. Dynamic tags, internal URL, content, print, portfolio print, and so on. I'll just quickly write that one in as branding and try and spell it right. And then icons, this way you choose additional social media icons that can go in here, and just add in the link for your Facebook one, Instagram, TikTok, add whatever you want for that. Then in terms of the background for it, here we go. Click on bio. No, where's the background? Box. It'll be that one, won't it? Color. I'll go on my custom colors and change that to my color. And then go and change it all. And it's as simple as that. And then just click publish. And the only thing you may want to take out is you can see that I've got my header appearing on here. So if I was to view it, that would have both my header and my footer appearing, which I don't want those to show up when someone clicks on the link inside Instagram. So if you ever need to remove that, go into header, click on this little pop-up here, go to display conditions. And then as you can see here, you just add another condition, which is to exclude a certain page from your website. So click exclude, choose singular, choose pages, because you've set this up as a page, and then write in here what I call it was new link in bio or something, wasn't it? New link in bio. Save and close. Obviously, I need to take out the footer as well, but that should do that. And eventually, when that is finished, saving it, if I go in here and I'll just clear the cache on that one, that is no longer there. And then it's as simple as that. This is now just the link for my link in bio page. And if I just copy that link, go into my Instagram profile, I think you can only do that on phone, and you just put it in here. It just means when someone clicks on it, this is what they will see. So we have all my dashboard drop down there. They'll see just my page and everything. So it's basically setting up what we had in Linktree before, but just doing it in your own personal way, which is really good. So yeah, I personally think those are three pretty great options, which were three things I was doing before. This one, this little contact window, that was using a third-party plugin before. What I was able to do on the search one was create. Here we go. It is working on there now. A drop-down menu like this. So rather than doing what I showed you before, where I type in the word camping and it would take me through to a separate page, I have to keep typing it in. We have live setups for this. So right in camping, that's showing me the latest 4 posts about camping. But what I do is camping that's pet friendly. So I type in the word pet. What do I see here? Great Central Coast holidays that are pet friendly. And then I can click on it straight away. Now that has come back, I will just very quickly show you how that works. Very, very easy to use as well. So we go into edit with Elementor. And it's basically just the search widget that was there before. So if I'm on this one, I'll just delete the one that we have there. And then go into widgets and type in search. And then it's literally just that one there. Ignore these two. These are the third-party plugins that I was previously using, but I'm just going to drop this one in. And there you are. It's just dropped in this search box. And this is just one I had set up before. Obviously, you can go in, you can change the typographies here, the type of button that's appearing. And you can make it, obviously it's just kind of dropped it in as the smallest one, but I want it to be sort of full width of the page. So if you want to do that, go to advanced, to width, full width 100%. Because it just means that as I was typing it in, you would only sort of see the results kind of below the actual search box. So if it's kind of tiny, it kind of works this way, basically. It will only kind of show in below there. So it depends how you want it to display. Do you want it to be sort of small with stacked results, or do you want it to be full width, the way it will show them in rows? So what you can do in here is you go into this box here and you can choose a submit button. And then again, that will just generate another page. But what we actually want is just the enter key. So it gets rid of that. And now all I'm seeing is a search box. Then results, go in here and select live results. And that just means that it's just going to show you me the results at a live point. To make this work, you have to already set up a loop element. And I talked about this previously in a lesson that I did a while ago. And this is basically where you set up these loop elements. And what you're doing is saying every time a grid of blog post is shown, they always look the same. So it goes image, title, excerpt, read more button. So I'm just going to choose one that I've set up previously. And then if I just click edit template, that will show you how that loop element works. They're very easy to set up, but you do just need to set one of those up. You just set up a grid like this, and you just say, right, that is always going to be the featured image, the edit, the post title, then the post excerpt, and then that's a button at the bottom that just says read more, and that goes through to post URL. So that's what's going to display in the dropdown. Then you can say, right, I want this to be 4 columns, and then how many items I want it to show. Because there was quite a lot of detail in there, I just want it to be 4 in individual columns. So I'm going to go 4 and 4. What I had on this one was kind of 2 columns and 4 results because they are stacked like that, because there was a little bit more space for that. Then the query, this was the very cool thing I was telling you about, in that on this website, we have all of these destinations. And if I'm searching on the New South Wales page, I don't want to see any results for Queensland because I would be on the Queensland page otherwise. So what you can say is the query for this one, I want the source to just be posts, because we have about 650 posts on this one. Then what do you want to include? Include by term. And then this is where you can put in tags and categories. And obviously the tag that I want to go, the category that I want to show up in here is New South Wales. And that is a category which is a child of Australia, New South Wales. And that's it. So if I then publish this page, let's have a look at it. Then when I go onto this page, what would you like to do in New South Wales? Well, what I'd like to do is go to the Opera House, obviously. So I type in the word opera, and then it will show me the latest 4 posts that have the Opera House. One thing I didn't do on there was to say that I want that equal height. This is just, again, a designer point of view. I want them all to line up at the bottom, all of those read more buttons and the lines. So let's just go equal height. Just like that one. Set up. Type surfing. Right, so I want to see something with the Opera House, and then these are the results. Now it's all lined up nicely. And let's just say I want to go to Manly, because that's where I actually live. And then it will give me any post that's got Manly in it. So obviously this is 32 fun things to do in Sydney. And then here I have the what to do in Manly with kids, a locals guide, and I can click on that. So yes, that is why the search function has done what Elementor should be doing, something that I could only ever do in a third party before. So yes, that's the search function, and that is the floating contact button that I showed you. And obviously the last thing that I showed you there was the link in bio. 3 very good elements that are all done with inside Elementor now. Don't need to use a third party for, and all very, very easy to use. So that's the end of that part. Any questions on that one? Any questions for anything Will has spoken about? Throw them out now. And either just start talking, throw up your little hand icon, or write them in the chat window.
That was great, John. I love those little options.
All very cool.
I don't know which is my favorite, the button or the search filter.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just comes down to the website that you have. And obviously that's why I showed you 2 different websites. For my personal website, I don't really need a search function on that, because what are you going to search for? I've kind of got it split up into I do digital, I do print, I do branding. So that's quite clear. And people want to get in touch with me. They want me to build a website, so they'll get in touch. Whereas the other one that I showed you was a blog website that has well, it was 1,000 posts. We've dropped it down to about 650 now, so we massively cleaned it up. But it covers all of Australia and it covers various different places in the world. So it will just help you find what you want to find. Whereas if I go to the New South Wales page, we've got over 100 different posts about New South Wales. You're not going to scroll through them all, especially if you're on your phone. You want to just do a live search, and then you're typing it in. The other thing is it will. Depends how good you are, how good your spelling is, I suppose, really. But if you write something in and you misspell it, it will say, so let me just, not that this is how you would spell anything, but if I write that in, the result you'll get is, oh, you can't see what I'm sharing, can you?
That's okay.
Let me show you that. So yeah, obviously if I type in Opera House, it will show me Opera House. But if I've spelled opera like that, it seems we can't find what you're looking for. So it'll tell you straight away. Basically, if they don't have anything that's talking about that, which is bad for me because it means I'll go to a different website. But also you'll tell that you spelt something incorrectly, and you can then just edit it straight away on the page that you're on, and it will show you live what the results are. Whereas if I was to go into the search box and misspell the word opera, then I've got to load another page, then rewrite it in again, load another page. So there, look, we can't see what you're looking for. You're like, oh, okay, right, I spelt that wrong. So now I've got to type it in correctly and then do it again. It just slows down your search options massively. So that's the beauty of that. Any other questions?
I think you could do a spin-off out and about with babies.
Yeah. We
Spin-off
do
website.
have yeah. Well, we do have like tips on traveling with your baby, which is obviously something I'm massively using now, like for taking them on a plane and stuff like that. What's the best thing to do if you're booking with a plane, knowing that you get them like a free ticket up to the age of 2, and then after that you have to start paying. So yeah, do all of your holidays while your kids under the age of 2. They won't remember it. I have one quick question for you, Will.
Oh, okay.
About variable fonts, basically. So basically, when I are building a website and then I'm just doing like a speed test or something, that it's saying it's slowing it down because I am using the light, then I'm using the medium, and then I'm using the bold. And then sometimes it'll be like, oh, I'm using the bold and the extra bold. I'm like, all right, just change that. So I'll just use the bold and the just use one of them, just use the bold.
Yeah.
And then that will not speed it up loads, but it will speed it up just because it's loading less things. However, if I'm using this variable font, but I've got this one up here that's 315, and then this one down here that's like 412, and then this one that's 478. Is that still going to be slow because I'm still loading 3 different weights of it? Or because it's just using the one font file, is that what makes it faster?
That's what makes it faster is you're just the one file, the one TTF file. So you're right. If you're using different weights, you'd have to load in 3 different weights. Whereas this one, what they call them variable axes. So width and what was the other one I showed? Width and can't remember what it was. But yeah, so those can change within that just one font file.
Yeah.
But it's not just weight and things like that. It's also, there's lots of different things that are coming in with these. There's a morph, there's extrusion, and there's highlights, there's shape. Let me just, I'll quickly share my screen because this is what I was spending hours just looking at these things. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah. So he gets excited as I do.
So here's one that's info. So the variable axis here is element shape, and if you move it, can you see that the shape morphs?
I don't think that's changing on what.
Can you not see that?
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I can see it. Yeah.
This is another one. So here's the extrusion depth.
Wow.
And it's got highlights as well. So you can change, they might not be able to see that on my screen, but it goes white, the edges go white or not white. And then last one, this is Kablamo. This is a morph. And that's just crazy.
No.
So it's not just weight that you can change. It's all different things. And that's just the one file. And that's what makes it super fast. So yeah, I think those are just going to take over very, very quickly. Yeah. And you can animate these as well. You can animate these variable axes. So you can imagine that kind of morph in text on your website. It's going to be PowerPoint 2000 all over again.
Bring it back.
Yeah, Bridget says, bring back the early web. That's where it's like
Flash,
word art.
yeah. No, that's very, very cool. That, yeah. So again, like, so it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously, from a design point of view, you want consistency. So I don't want different weights all over the shop, the way that this one is 312 and then this one's 418 or something. I don't want that, because then that looks bad, that it's messed up. Even if most people can't see it, I can see it. But that wouldn't slow it down then. Like, I could basically have 900 different weights on a single page, and it would still just load the same way, because it's just loading that one file. Oh, that is good.
Exactly. So that's
very cool.
It's a great new feature, and it's a great speed boost as well. I love
Very
that.
cool.
I think I've got no other questions. I think we'll wrap that up for this evening. Yep, getting nods. So thanks very much, John, for that presentation. That's really cool. There's lots of different features out there. It's been a feature-rich quarter from Elementor, I think. Thanks very much, Paul, Bridget, Hope, Tracy, and Stefan as well, who's left. Thanks very much for your attendance. And so the next one is December the 5th, 2024, but there's also WordPress meetups in between and WordCamp Sydney as well. So I shall bid you all good evening and good morning wherever you are, and catch you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
See ya.